And now I want to read an email from an assistant U.S. attorney from the Southern District of New York from January 7th, 2020. And I'm going to read the full email so no context gets lost. And if our viewers haven't seen it yet, they can understand and follow along as well. Here's what it said. For your situational awareness, wanted to let you know that the flight records we received yesterday reflect that Donald Trump traveled on Epstein's private jet many more times than previously has been reported, or that we were aware, including during the period we would expect to charge in a Maxwell case. In particular, he is listed as a passenger on at least 8 flights between 1993 and 1996, including at least 4 flights on which Maxwell was also present. He is listed as having traveled with, among others, and at various times, Marla Maples, his daughter Tiffany, and his son Eric. On one flight in 1993, he and Epstein are the only 2 listed passengers. On another, the only 3 passengers are Epstein, Trump, and then 20-year-old, the names redacted there. On 2 other flights, 2 of the passengers, respectively, were women who would be possible witnesses in a Maxwell case. We've just finished reviewing the full records, more than 100 pages of very small script, and didn't want any of this to be a surprise down the road. What do you make of that email?
Well, I have to say that certainly in regards to President Trump, and we know that they had been very close for more than 10 years. We know that they socialized together. We know that they attended parties together. They were Donald Trump at one point had a modeling agency. Jeffrey Epstein was connected to a modeling agency. These men were in the presence of a lot of young women through of the various parties. Donald Trump has said over the years that he was never aware of Jeffrey Epstein's sex trafficking. And he said it was only until Jeffrey Epstein began taking young women from his spa at Mar-a-Lago when he kicked Jeffrey Epstein out of the spa. And this was around 2004. And this is when their friendship ended. So my focus for all of these years has been, has Donald Trump ever been in the presence of Jeffrey Epstein and any of his victims? And if so, if he was aware of anything, why didn't he end his association with Jeffrey Epstein then? And more importantly, why did he not report this information to the authorities? Donald Trump at that time was a very respected individual in Palm Beach. And in New York, he could have fast-tracked any type of investigation if he got on the phone with authorities in Palm Beach or in New York. So I'm particularly concerned about that memo. And the thing that concerns me is when they say he was on a flight with 2 women who could have been possible witnesses to the Maxwell case. And of course, witnesses to the Maxwell case would have been sexually abused by Jeffrey Epstein and Ghislaine Maxwell. And we know that there were 4 women who testified against Ghislaine Maxwell at trial. Those women at the time of the sexual abuse were indeed underage. One of the women was older. So I'm concerned as to who these 2 women were that were on the plane with Jeffrey Epstein and Donald Trump. And in what context did Donald Trump, what was he aware of? Was he aware that either of these women were in distress in any way? Were they? What was their attitude? Why was he? Why were they on the flight? Where were they going? It raises questions as to Donald Trump seeing Jeffrey Epstein with possible victims behind the scenes, away from anyone else, where he was clearly focused on what was going on in that plane. So it is very concerning as to the nature of what was happening on the plane and what did he know about these women And afterwards, after he got off the plane, did he think that what was going on was appropriate? And if so, why didn't he, ask more questions? These are questions that I don't think the FBI can answer, but these are questions that we have to ask President Trump about.